Well, good morning, kids, and welcome to another episode of Virtual Sunday School. I hope everyone is so excited and you are ready for your next lesson for this week. I hope everyone also sent in your memory verse. Make sure that you send in your videos so that Sarah Chichi can see them later, okay? So, I wanted to share a very important story, and it's kind of similar to what we learned last week, because what did we learn about last week? Do you guys remember? About Jesus, right? So Jesus as a little boy, when he got lost in the temple and his parents were so worried about him. So we're gonna learn a few more stories about what Jesus did during his time on earth. So I want you guys to remember, this is very important, that Jesus is God, right? Jesus and God are the same person. And I know sometimes it's hard to understand because we know that God is very mighty and he can do anything and he knows everything and he knows all about us. But when we think about Jesus, we have to understand that Jesus was the Son, and he came to earth as a human. So he was like a boy and grew up, and he was born on earth just like all of us, right? It's as if one of us were a human being and we were born on earth, but we still had powers, like we could do special things just like we know that God can, okay? So in this story, Jesus had already been performing miracles. That means he was doing things and helping people and healing people that no other human being could do. So this was really amazing. Everyone wanted to come see Jesus if they were sick or if they were blind, like they couldn't see, or maybe they couldn't walk. All sorts of people from all over wanted to come and see Jesus. So one day, Jesus came to a place called Cana, okay? Cana was a place close by, and Jesus found a man, and this man came close to Jesus. He was very important. You can see he's right here. He was a very important person, and they didn't mention his name in the Bible, but they called him a nobleman, which means he had lots of money, he was very rich, and he was an important person. So he was trying to find Jesus. You can see he was all in the crowds are looking for Jesus, and everyone is surrounding Jesus, but this nobleman, this very rich man, he was so desperate to see Jesus because he said, my son is at home and he's very sick and he's going to die, Jesus. If you don't heal him, he's going to die, and he would be so sad if his son died, right? So Jesus, finally, he saw this man. The nobleman came to Jesus. He finally found Jesus among the crowd, and he went up to Jesus. You can see he's kneeling. He's begging Jesus. This is Jesus here in the white, and he says, please, Jesus, you have to come to my house. He wanted him to come home because he thought that only if Jesus were to come home into his house and see his son, that's the only way he was going to be healed. But guess what? We know better than that, right? Jesus can do anything from anywhere. He just has to say the word. But the nobleman, he didn't really know Jesus like that. So he was begging and pleading, please, 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 Jesus, come to my house so that you can see my son and that he will be healed, because he can't die. He's just a little boy. So guess what happened? Jesus was away from his home. He was in the city, and all Jesus said to this man was, don't worry, your son is going to be healed. I'm going to heal him. I just need to say the word. Your son will be well. And guess what happened? The nobleman, he wasn't sure about it at first. He said, are you sure, Jesus? Don't you have to come to my house? Don't you have to see my son? But Jesus had to assure this man, he had to tell the nobleman, he said, don't worry, even if I say the word that your son is going to be healed, he will be healed. So as the nobleman got up and he had to believe that Jesus was going to heal his son, he started running home to see his son, and one of his servants came up to Jesus one of the servants came up to the nobleman. He met him in the in the field on his way home, And he runs up to the nobleman and he said, listen, your son is already healed. He's already healed, and you didn't even come home and Jesus wasn't here, but all of a sudden he was made better and he was not sick anymore. So the nobleman said, wow, this must have been at the same time that Jesus said he was going to be healed. He didn't even have to come to my home or see my son. He just said the word and his son was healed. Isn't that amazing? This is a really great story about what we call faith. And faith means that you believe even though you don't see something in front of you. Like, let's say, for example, your mom is cooking dinner and your mom says, okay, come down for dinner time. I made spaghetti and meatballs. Wow, that was my favorite. So you were maybe in your room or you're watching TV in the living room and your mom made spaghetti and meatballs, and that's in the kitchen. So because your mom said, hey, come down, I made spaghetti and meatballs for dinner, and automatically you think in your head, oh, well, my mom said she made spaghetti and meatballs, so she must have made spaghetti and meatballs. And when you go to the kitchen, you expect to see spaghetti and meatballs, right? In the same way, that's what we call faith. So even before you went to the kitchen to see that your mom made spaghetti and meatballs, she told you she made it, and you believe that she made it. So that's the same thing that the nobleman had to believe that Jesus, he already healed his son. So even before he came home and he saw his son, the servant came to the field and said, your son is already healed. And that's what we call faith. And this is a very important thing to learn about in this story. So I hope you guys understand. And I know sometimes it's kind of hard to understand stories about Jesus right now, but when you grow up and maybe you remember this story, you'll understand how important it is to have faith in what Jesus says, because everything he says will come true. Okay? I love you guys. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody sends in their memory verse and you're having a great week and everyone's staying safe. I hope to see you guys soon. Love you. Bye.